10:01, good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Playoff action last night. The Vegas Golden Knights completed the sweep over the Colorado Avalanche with a 2-1 win on Wednesday. They move on to the Stanley Cup final for the third time and await the winner between Hurricanes and Canadiens. Game 4 is tonight in Carolina at 7 p.m. Carolina leads it 2-1. In the NBA, the Thunder took a 3-2 series lead in the Western Conference Finals with a 127-114 win at home. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 32 points and 9 assists. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Hope you're off to a great start on this Wednesday. We got 3 hours to talk about a bunch of different things. We're going to bounce around all over the place. What do we have to give away at 11 o'clock for the dumbest thing in sports? That's right. I'm making you do it right away, right now. What are you?
I don't know.
You're in the middle of something?
I have no idea.
What are you doing? You don't look that busy.
I have zero clue what the hell we're giving away.
We'll get to it. We have it at 11 o'clock. It'll be a lot of fun. There's a lot of dumb things in sports that we could talk about, but we have to talk about, I think, more the New York Knicks. They are in the finals for the first time in 27 years. So you were 3. I would have been 6. I have really never had a moment in my life where I felt like the Knicks were NBA Finals, like championship caliber contenders. And they've threatened once or twice. There's a lot of hype around New York teams always. But they're winning at a clip. Lucas, their only 2 losses of this postseason were one-score losses to the Hawks at basically the very end of those games. They are very close to being undefeated in the postseason, 14-0, and staring down the barrel of, the best win percentage, regular season or postseason of a team in how long? Since the Warriors? And I know we don't talk about them that way, and they're not that because their opposition is not LeBron and the Cavs and the rest of the West. West has always been better in the NBA than the East. I feel like, at least in my lifetime, we've talked about it that way. But they're clubbing these teams.
Their last loss was April 23rd, and it's crazy that they were losing that series at any point, period, against Atlanta.
Hawks were a hot team at the very end of the year, but they weren't really enough to threaten what New York is doing.
But just the bloodbath that was in Game 6 in the opening round, it's just crazy to think Atlanta was leading that series at any point. But now they just sit and wait, and it feels like this Spurs-Thunder series has a real shot to go 7. So New York, I guess you could look at it one of 2 ways. Are they sitting there collecting rust, or are they collecting the necessary rest to be ready for an NBA Finals in their first championship since what? Was it 73?
And that's the thing about the Thunder, right? They just did this. They're a super young team, but they literally just went through all the trials and tribulations of what it is to win a championship the first time. So if there are pitfalls to be avoided, at least Oklahoma City has the background that they do to be able to manage the situation as best as humanly possible. There's always things that can pop up. There's always the threat of injury at any point. They pull ahead in that series last night, 127-114. It didn't even really feel that close. In fact, actually, I don't know. That felt basically like the distance between the two teams almost the entire game. SGA didn't start out well, but ended up finishing very, very strong. Wembanyama was not efficient last night, where they had the opportunity to take a game there and pull ahead in that series. The Thunder are 1 win away from advancing to the finals, and then we can have a conversation about, can the Knicks beat the defending champions? But I'm so fixated on the New York side of things. I want to see Wembanyama in the finals against New York because I just think that's the best watch. We had this conversation over the weekend, and I don't know if you have a preference. I don't know how much you watched of the Oklahoma City Thunder outside of the playoffs when they're in it. And obviously, they've been a fixture in the playoffs.
Hardly any.
Okay, that's fair. You understand the outsized level of conversation, though, around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's now a back-to-back MVP, but a lot of consternation about the style of play, the way that he draws the fouls, how often he gets to the free throw line. He's ruthlessly efficient at it. He's better at it than anybody in the sport. It may not be the best version of basketball to watch. I think James Harden did this really well for a really, really long time. SGA is just excellent. And at every turn, averages 20 a game, at least 20 a game.
How many field goals do you think SGA made last night? He ended up with 32 points, 9 assists.
Just tell me.
No, come on. That's no fun.
No, it's okay.
7. 16 made free throws. Half his points from the line. That's what he does.
And that's fine. Some people don't like to watch it. I understand that it's a great way to win, but I'm okay to see, just as a fan, I'm okay to not see OKC in the finals this year. I want Wembanyama versus the Spurs, versus the Knicks. I don't know whether the Spurs are going to be able to do that. And I don't know. I said pretty comfortably that the Knicks wouldn't be favored over either of these teams were they to advance to the finals and face either the Spurs or the Thunder. I don't know how I feel about that right now. I don't think Vegas knows how to feel about the Knicks. They just keep clubbing teams. It's got to be really difficult to handicap them. And I don't have any real knowledge of the science behind that other than they shouldn't be winning at this rate, and yet they are at every turn. They haven't really even been tested.
Yeah, what has been their biggest test of the postseason?
I mean, the Hawks. The Sixers threatened them for like a hot second in game one, and then Embiid had a big game, and then game two. I don't remember exactly how that series played out, but they swept the 76ers. It's probably the comeback against Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? The 22-point comeback against Cleveland.
8 minutes left. That's it.
And even then, it didn't really feel that hard for them to come back from down 22. And that's a Cavs thing. Go ahead, Robert.
No. If you want to be philosophical, the biggest thing they've had to get over is to not buy into their own hype. It's to not buy into it. That, we are this world beater. They still need to be a scrappy underdog because that's what you're going to be in the finals against whether you're playing the Thunder or the Spurs.
So there's a guy named Alex Monaco, okay? And maybe you know that name, maybe you don't. But Alex Monaco is a in-arena correspondent, we'll call it, for Madison Square Garden. And the game, obviously, in OKC last night, the game, obviously, in Cleveland for the Knicks to advance to the finals. Alex Monaco was doing some kind of broadcast. I don't know if they went to him in the postgame show, the local postgame show for the New York Knicks coverage. But, Robert, if we could play this sound of him losing his mind at Madison Square Garden with a just sea of Knicks fans behind him.
Bill! Look behind me! See behind me! For the first time since 1999! It's a goal! New York! Goal! It's pandemonium! It's euphoria! It's nothing but New York joy! Oh, what a time to be in New York City! Bill! Back to you! Back to you!
He is doing all kind of hand gesturing, rock on signs.
Yeah, the video makes it.
He's a huge part of the party. I don't know. I think the audio is just as good because, we give you a hard time about some of the calls that you will or won't do and the delirium thing. But, you don't ever go full that, right? And Nashville SC is really good. And they've had some big moments this season. I don't think unless
Delirium!
Yeah, there it is. I think that's the closest you've gotten to something like that. And there's this fine line between, all right, you're being a homer versus, man, that's just cool. And I think that's a really tough.
He's just embracing the moment.
No, that's what I'm saying. I love to watch people get to embrace the moment that way versus, I think in a lot of situations, you could come off as super corny if you were not authentically into it. That dude is authentically into it if you watch the video. And I love to see that. I've never rooted for a New York team in my entire life. I don't know why the Knicks are compelling this way. I don't feel like they're some lovable underdog, but they kind of They kind of lean into that a little bit. But I mean, is America rooting for the Knicks either way?
I think so.
For like a short period of time, though, right? That's going to turn very quickly.
Yeah.
Because New York fans are not, you know.
Unless you have certain biases against the Knicks, right? Unless you're a Sixers fan or, you're a fan of a Knicks rival. But for the most part, it kind of reminds me of, a little less extreme, but when the Cubs were going on that run, like unless you hated the Cubs back in 2016, how are you going to root against the Cubs during that run to break the curse?
Yeah.
Like just in terms of a sports moment.
I mean, the Cubs, it's such a, and you're right as far as like the scale of the city and the fan base.
Yeah.
And obviously not the length of the Cubs, the 100, was it over 100 years? 108?
Yeah, like if you're a Cardinals fan, no, of course you weren't rooting for the Cubs. But
right.
The rest of America was very much rooting for the Cubs. I feel like the Knicks are that. And we don't get those that often in American sports, right? That team, big market, major market team that's been on that kind of drought, making that sort of run and capturing the entire city of that market along the way, just along for the ride. Like you don't get those sort of moments that often. You don't really get them too much in the NFL, right? In a league that is so built for parity. Certainly if the Jets or, the city of Cleveland will be on fire if the Browns ever go to the Super Bowl. But
the closest thing to a Cinderella that we had this year in the NFL was the Patriots, and nobody's rooting for the Patriots.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly. Like they've been down in the depths for like a handful of years. So I think it's cool when you have those moments. So yeah, I'm on the bandwagon, man. I'd love to see the city of New York go absolutely bonkers for a Knicks title.
Back to you.
It's so good. So, yeah, New York losing its mind. This is a comment or a version of a comment that I feel like we see a lot in sports. And I don't know, more often than not, you hear it so often it just kind of rolls over you. But I think it might be true in this instance. So I'm looking at the F&M Bank chat. You can interact with the show. Live stream us on YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Subscribe to the Zone YouTube channel while you're there. Or you can call us, 615-737-1045. But Jordan on YouTube says, the NBA is better when the Knicks are good. I appreciably feel like I'm enjoying the NBA more because the Knicks are good. Now, not so much that it got me to watch a bunch of regular season basketball games. Admittedly, they still have a regular season problem they have to figure out. But the postseason, what would keep you captivated in this year's postseason if not the Knicks? They're doing a lot of heavy lifting because the rest of they are making a sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals okay from a compelling standpoint. Like people are still interested and engaged in the basketball because it's the Knicks, it feels like.
Yeah, 100%.
Because otherwise, like the postseason's been kind of a dud.
No, you would see a marked difference in NBA Finals ratings if the Cavs had won that series instead of the Knicks. If it was Cavs Thunder or Cavs Spurs compared to Knicks Thunder or Spurs. No, these NBA Finals have the potential, it feels like, to be as entertaining of finals as we've had in a few years. But again, that's just me getting caught up in the moment of the Knicks, understanding the path they took to get there. There's also a real scenario where the Thunder or the Spurs just get in there and shut them down in the finals. But I hope that doesn't happen.
I've been trying to think, what's the closest NFL equivalent we've come to this? Detroit?
Yeah, that's a good shout. Detroit, even just getting back to a place where they're winning a playoff game.
Oh, I don't know. No.
Eminem is doing the whole ceremony, like going into it.
Maybe, but I don't think it's as big a deal as it felt like Washington was. Like Washington and Jaden Daniels' rookie year.
I feel like Detroit was like bigger in terms of a tortured fan base. I know Washington has been tortured, but I don't know. I feel like
That's
city.
one of the historically greatest football clubs that we have in pro football. And for just like a moment, they had that hope that's not Taylor Heineke, right? Their playoff run was Taylor Heineke against Tom Brady.
And they beat Detroit in that divisional round game. But just in terms of watching from afar, I feel like the Detroit community was way louder than the Washington, D.C. community during the Lions run.
Well, I mean, the only reason I could think for that is because people are still split on the name. Like that is still at least somewhat of a talking point for Washington football fans. Go ahead, Robert.
Justin brought up the Bills, but like I didn't feel like triumphant for them coming out of, and this is before I had a huge hatred.
No,
I thought
I
you were doing the thing there. I'm like the team that you hate the most.
That's why I'm asking you guys, because like I didn't feel that kind of like glee for them to be out of the hellhole that they were in. Did you guys feel that way? Or like I didn't feel like they were celebrated for not being a stinky dumpster team anymore.
They're not anymore because it's just every year.
But when it happened, I mean, I don't know. It went like ships in the night. Like I didn't feel like there was this them crossing the plane of being a contender.
Right.
I guess because I saw a lot of it, to be honest with you, when the Titans were playing the Bills on the regular. I mean, how many straight years did the Titans play the Bills? 5? During Josh Allen's, like, as Josh Allen was ascending, I feel like the Titans and the Bills have seen a lot of each other, especially like Marcus Mariota and who was that damn wide receiver that dropped that touchdown pass in the end zone on the road?
Nick Williams.
Nick Williams, Titans legend Nick Williams. There was like a string from the Nick Williams game of like 5 years, and some of them in prime time, like Jeff Simmons on the goal line against Josh Allen. And seeing a lot of games at Buffalo, I just think they're always like that.
I think the hockey version this year was in Buffalo with the Sabres.
Yeah, and they don't quite resonate the same, right? Like the closest thing we've actually had a lot of examples, I feel like. Indiana's different, right? Indiana's a national championship run is unlike any other thing you've ever seen in that sport, right? I mean, you would have a better gauge for that than me, but
completely unprecedented.
That's a rocket ship that you've literally never seen. That's a UFO. The Knicks have won, but it's been just 100 years. So Cubs, the most extreme version of that, but it's probably most comparable to them. I like the Detroit comparison too, though, because you can just tell. I mean, having gone to that stadium for the first time, I guess that was 24, when they were in a pretty close game against Detroit until the dam broke and Khalif Raymond had like a 70-yard return against them. Just everything about that city feels like Lions. We want the Lions to win. This is our year. It's the giant banner on the side of that, like one of the tallest buildings in downtown. It's everybody in their Lions gear. So yeah, it's probably close to that. And still, New York is just so much bigger. So that feels like it is going to explode.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I thought Detroit, instead of being the Pistons, should have been the Bears, and then they could have been Lions, Tigers, and Bears.
What would you do with Chicago, though?
I don't care. It's basketball. Instead of the Pistons, they would be the Bears. Then you're not fighting anybody for it.
Bears is a basketball
The Grizzlies, that's a bear.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, like,
still doesn't make. I mean, I know the origins of the Memphis Grizzlies, but like Memphis, not a lot of grizzly bears running around in Memphis.
Oh, you can find a bear.
Not legally. Back to you. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. Trade packages and trade targets that are worth looking at in the NFL. One trade package or partner that was not mentioned that I think should have been. We'll talk about it coming up next.
The Guaranteed Offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with the Guaranteed Offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running downstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
So most NFL teams are done with the major bulk of their offseason moves, but could we see some notable trades take place over the course of the rest of the offseason. Welcome back to the show. We're fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Download the app and you get a free dessert just for downloading the app. Order for pickup or delivery. So ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, Dan Graziano, Ben Solak, a litany of ESPN writers have put their heads together to theorize and come up with trade offers for 4 players that they believe could be trade candidates this offseason. The 4 players, you guys have seen the list, yes? Are Keon Coleman, the Bills wide receiver, Cole Kmet, the Bears tight end, Anthony Richardson, the Colts quarterback, and Kayvon Thibodeau, the Giants defensive end. So there is a lack of Will Levis on here, the Titans quarterback, who has been brought up in trade discussions. Certain insiders would drop his name pre-draft. Watch out for a potential Will Levis trade during the draft. That did not take place. And just because Will Levis is not on this list of 4 does not mean that Will Levis isn't going to get traded by the Titans. But as we sit here, May 27th, 2026, should we still be operating under this assumption that Will Levis will not be on the roster come week 1?
I think it's a safer assumption. Like if you took the Titans or the field, you would say the field for where Will Levis is playing or on a roster in 2026. I think Mitch Trubisky is going to be the backup quarterback as long as he's healthy. The question then becomes, okay, do you try and get anything that you possibly can for Will Levis in a year where he's as cheap as he's ever been, right? The Titans have paid the vast majority of that contract. He is in a contract year, so he's a rental. You don't have to deal with him. It feels so wrong to say deal with him, but like, I feel like everybody knows what I mean when I say that. If it goes poorly, you're not married to the deal. If you acquire him, and if it's a 7th round pick in a year where maybe you can use that 7th round pick to trade up, what is the value of the average draft pick versus what we're talking about for 2027? Because as we've discussed, this is as hyped a draft in depth at critically important positions. How many quarterbacks were on that list yesterday by Jordan Reed?
Almost 30. Of like, hey, here's guys that could get drafted next year.
Okay. And we don't, even if half of them do, that's a
big
really big quarterback class. So what is the value of a 2027 draft pick for Will Levis versus the value of Will Levis in his current state?
And I think NFL teams told you what they thought the value of the 2027 draft picks were in the 2026 draft. If you guys had to guess, how many 2027 draft picks were exchanged during the 2026 draft?
3.
4.
Yeah.
So they thought that the 2026 paled in comparison, especially once you got out of day 1 and day 2, and it was like, I don't have the exact picks that were traded, but a lot of those 2027 picks that were already traded outside of the 2026 draft were for marquee players like Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams, those kind of guys. So NFL teams already told you what they think about the 2 drafts comparatively.
I knew it was low, but what is it? That's 4 out of 257? I mean, so we are talking about a very intriguing draft ahead of the college football season, which, of course, this trade would have to happen ahead of the college football season. If you were, it doesn't have to, I guess. It would have to, unless you're going to do it at the deadline. That gets a little risky. If he's here at the deadline and you're not dealing with health of your quarterback room, I think you just keep him at that point, unless somebody is really pushing up their offer, unless somebody else is hurt, unless another quarterback, a backup quarterback, has gone down and you can rental your way through a Will Levis season. Maybe that is the way to do it. But I just have to believe at some point in 2026, he's going to be on a different roster.
How has Levis looked at OTAs? The answer can be, there's just not enough of a sample size one way or another.
Yeah, it was one day, right? But if I'm gonna gas up Carnell Tate for one day, I thought he looked fine. But that's he always looks fine, right? In practice. Practice is never the problem. He did throw an interception to an Eric Hallett Jr. or Eric Hallett II.
From Green Bay?
Apparently. I was unfamiliar with his presence on the roster until I looked at his number when he intercepted Will Levis at OTAs. So he did throw a ball behind a receiver that was picked, tip drill type of situation. Not a good decision. He had some really nice throws out there, too. He was, I can go back through my practice notes at some length, but he looked fine. Will Levis looks like a fine practice player.
Well, for what it's worth, Anthony Richardson, obviously part of that draft class, went in the top 5. Levis, as we know, fell to the second round. But we've brought those two into the same conversation as it pertains to their trade value, as Anthony Richardson, unlike Levis, has formally requested a trade. He did that back in February with the Colts. So in this article on ESPN, the various writers say a future in Indianapolis seems doubtful after a messy 3 seasons for Richardson, filled with injuries, benchings, and wavering by the Colts. But with most QB roles around the league already filled, Indy's attempts to deal him may not be fruitful. Any team that trades for Richardson before August 1st would pay him $5.385 million for 2026. But if he's dealt after his August 1st roster bonus is paid, the amount he is owed drops to $1.145 million. So that's from Stephen Holder, the ESPN Nation, NFL Nation Colts reporter. So he's saying don't anticipate anything right around the corner. But Jeremy Fowler, Dan Graziano, Ben Solak and company threw together some hypothetical trade offers for Anthony Richardson. Fowler's fictional offer has the Packers offering the Colts a 2027 fifth, straight up. Anthony Richardson for a 2027 fifth. Is there any world where the Titans could get a 2027 fifth for Will Levis?
Oh, man. He hasn't played. Okay, so when? When are we talking? Like before roster cut day? Like he plays all 3 preseason games?
Anytime. However, like what situation would have to happen for the Titans to get a fifth for Levis?
He would have to be model citizen at every point in terms of his quotes, right? Like he can't garner any additional attention. He just has to be as quiet through this process as he can. Now listen, he just went viral over the weekend through no fault of his own completely.
Yeah.
Okay, there are these Will Levis landmines, I guess, that do exist that can kind of pop up at any moment, even if he doesn't do anything because of something that's happened. So maybe it's impossible for him to be completely quiet or have a completely quiet off season. I don't mean, shut up and dribble. But he has to put his head down and just grind it out and not be any kind of outwardly distraction. On top of, he has to look healthy coming off that shoulder. I've only seen him for a day. He looked fine. I don't know what he needs as far as rest, rehabilitation, recovery for the injury. He's had the surgery almost a year ago, right? He's had a lot of time off. That's the other thing. He's had a lot of time off. Do you drop him into a preseason game? And obviously there would be training camp practices, but it could go one of 2 ways. You could be pleasantly surprised, or you could be like, that guy hasn't played football in a long time, even if it is super vanilla.
Seth Walder of ESPN also has a hypothetical offer of a 2027 fifth coming from the Vikings, where he says Richardson, again, this is about Anthony Richardson, can come into the Kevin O'Connell School of Quarterbacks and learn behind another mobile QB in Kyler Murray. Ben Solak has the Colts getting a 4th rounder in 2027.
Come on.
For Anthony Richardson and a 2028 7th round pick. Saying backup quarterback has been an issue for the Lions, as Hendon Hooker, who is now here, and Kyle Allen have not been enough to stop the team from yanking Teddy Bridgewater away from high school coaching in Florida. He says Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell tend to like QBs with bigger bodies, so Richardson could be a good fit. Are there more different quarterbacks than Anthony Richardson and Jared Goff?
I mean, but isn't that a good thing sometimes? Like, if you're talking about a backup quarterback, Jordan Love and Malik Willis are not similar.
No.
And how they play the game. And I'm not saying sustainably, but like, could you get away with a win with Anthony Richardson? Because as a defense, you were just completely unprepared for everything that Anthony Richardson is. Now, also he is. when he feels like he's completely unprepared for everything that Anthony Richardson is on a down in, down out basis. So maybe the variance is such that you can't get away with it. But I think there is some benefit to just having a completely different player at quarterback as a backup, if you can.
Yeah. Graziano's offer is the Bears send quarterback Tyson Bagent to Indy in a straight-up player exchange.
Bagent just got paid, too.
Yeah, which is why that doesn't make any sense to me. He does say that the Bears dangled Bagent in trade offers earlier in the offseason, and Richardson would get to learn from Ben Johnson, and that the Bears still have Case Keenum behind Caleb Williams if they want a veteran backup.
Okay, wouldn't you also put Bagent out there for trade offers if you were looking around in a quarterback week draft and just kind of like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what passes the sniff test. Do we get a compelling enough offer? Because, okay, if you're going to make us a ridiculous offer for Travis Bagent, we'll take you up on that.
Tyson Bagent.
So
So what they do in this article is they put forth 4 hypothetical trade offers for the player, and then they come to a verdict on the one that makes the most sense. Which one do you think they said made the most sense for Richardson? The Vikings sending a 5th, the Lions sending a 4th and getting Richardson and a 7th, the Bears sending Bagent straight up, or the Packers sending a 5th?
I kind of like Detroit.
Their verdict is Richardson to Minnesota for a 5th-round pick is the one that makes the most sense. Giving the Colts a 5th-rounder.
It's just such a
without a pick swap.
Volatile quarterback situation. Kyler Murray, who hasn't been the picture of health the last couple of years, and then Anthony Richardson, who also hasn't been the picture of health the last couple of years.
Well, it would probably be the situation that Richardson would be looking for, right? To go work under Kevin O'Connell and theoretically have an opportunity to play if Kyler Murray is going to miss time, which he certainly has as of late. So,
well, I think you'd rather have, I would not want Minnesota over Chicago. If you actually wanted to improve and get better, I'd want to go sit behind. I mean, Caleb Williams is a year older than him. What is the age difference? They're both very young.
Well, if you're talking about trying to be one of those reclamation project quarterbacks and playing your way into a situation where you're the starter, that will be far more likely in Minnesota than in Chicago. We have no idea how the Kyler Murray experiment is going to work out in Minnesota. But
watch Kyler be very durable this year, and Caleb Williams, God forbid, deal with some level of injury.
I mean, both are good quarterback developers in Kevin O'Connell and Ben Johnson. But the point of this exercise, because the ESPN article is writing about Anthony Richardson, but if we put that up next to Will Levis and we're seeing the likes of Fowler and Graziano saying, a 5th-round pick, maybe a 4th with a pick swap could be a reasonable trade for Anthony Richardson. Again, they're just spitballing. But my ultimate question between the two is, I don't know how to phrase it. Either who is less hopeless?
No, who's the lesser of two
more
evils?
Hopeful? Yeah, between Levis and Richardson.
It's a lesser of two evils question. And
who's the longer shot to actually make something of their career as a quarterback?
Well, Levis.
Levis is a longer shot.
We would have to. There would have to be consensus. I mean, he's significantly older. He is older. Richardson is the most athletically gifted quarterback in the history of combine testing. Now, does that mean that you are a good quarterback? To date, no, not for him. And there is some other stuff, right? You have did we make too big of a deal out of him tapping out on that 3rd down? Because it was the talking point on every show. We talked about it. ESPN, every outlet with a microphone and a television camera in front of their face are talking about quitter's mentality. Pat McAfee, I think, went nuclear on the subject as a former member of the Colts and started talking about other guys who had less than a dog mentality or whatever you want to talk about, right? He was like weirdly calling players out publicly, but not quite. I don't know. It was a weird thing. So he's got some stuff there, too. I also don't think Indy handled that quarterback situation really well because they said they were going to ride with Flacco, and then all of a sudden Richardson's back in, and they just keep yanking the chain of Anthony Richardson. Whatever. There's a lot of blame to go around. Is there any argument for Levis over Richardson as we see it?
I think we have seen... you could argue we've seen a slightly better sample size at times of Levis than Richardson.
Consistently.
Playing in games, but
it's a very...
at the end of the day, it's not enough of a sample size that makes you feel good about, leaning into Will Levis as your reclamation project quarterback.
The pro for Will Levis is that he could grow into be a backup role. I don't think you would ever see Anthony Richardson be in a situation where he is the guy who is helping someone else prepare for a matchup. Like, Will Levis could eventually become a solid backup, someone who your main job is just keep people on task, give good reps. I don't think Anthony Richardson will ever grow into that. He will either be a starter or he will be a guy that someone is trying to squeeze the last little bit of blood out of a stone.
It is hard to see him as a true backup, unless he's one of those guys that, just this utility guy that you put him in and try to do something with him and utilize that athletic skill set, a la, not to compare him to Taysom Hill, but you know what I mean? Like the backup quarterback that may get in for a couple of packages, like the Titans tried to do with Malik, like we've thought could happen with Jalen Milroe. but didn't last year in Seattle.
I think there has to be some level of growth on Levis's part, which, by the way, he may have experienced. We don't know the answer to this question. He's got to be willing to embrace a different role. He has to be willing to embrace that role as backup quarterback, because I think that you don't want to like completely take a guy's competitive nature out of him and say, no, you're a backup. Behave accordingly, right? That's not what you're going for. But I do think, it's in the evolution. If there is to be an evolution of both of these players, they both have to be, I think, realistic about what their best chance of success is. The people around them also have to keep them realistic in terms of what is possible here. And by here, I mean with the rest of their NFL careers. Because I think there will always be a market for guys in their early to, Levis at best mid-20s who play the quarterback position. I think if Treylon Burks can get another job after Tennessee, Will Levis can get another job after Tennessee. It's just whether it's for a draft pick or not. 615-737-1045. We've got SEC observations next.
Okay, let's talk about spring meetings down in Destin. I will, preface everything by saying nothing important has been said or talked about yet, it would seem.
We will not talk about the playoff, even though all of you want to talk about the playoff, even though the playoff, for some reason, is barreling ahead.
No, important things are being talked about, but resolutions aren't exactly being found at the moment. All we've seen in terms of what we have in the public is coaches speaking on what they think about the college football playoff, what direction it should or shouldn't go, the current state of the sport, how it's just not tenable, the calendar, sort of just restating all of the problems. But they will all be sitting together in a room. You have to tell us who it was.
Because that's the second time it's happened, and one was during a commercial break.
It didn't happen during a commercial break.
Lucas.
It did. I can verify.
No, just shut up. Don't say that.
Who was it? Who emailed you?
Grab something. None of your business.
Oh, no. That's the rule.
That's the rule of the game.
No.
Oh,
You can make something up.
Look at Juiceless Big Boss Bert. He's scared.
Okay.
Doesn't have the power to read an email.
Okay, you guys wanted me to read an email? I'll read an email. It's from our boss. He says, guys, this is perfect. You did an exceptional job. This is the kind of attention to detail that we need moving forward. Appreciate Robert for spearheading this. That's the email I got.
That can't be true.
What? Do you think I just made it up?
Carrot Top, verify.
Yeah, tell him that's what this says.
I need verification that there was just glowing praise from our superiors dumped on Big Boss Bert's lap.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
You're a liar.
Why did you tell you were supposed to tell him that's what it said? That is what this says.
You're a liar. Because nobody would ever send you an email like that.
No, they always send me. Isn't there something SEC boy? Isn't there something?
Oh, you're scared.
Tell us about the playoffs.
Let's
Look at
That's great.
Please tell me that wasn't my
All right. Let's hear from Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White on the college football playoffs. To preface, he was asked about his comments previously on supporting a 2014 playoff.
I don't remember when I did that, but I think I just look at, we have 20 sports at Tennessee, and the percent of teams with access to postseason, I think it's low in football, and I think we need more access. So I'm for that. I think there's a lot of different ways to do it, and a lot of really good ideas. We got smart commissioners and a bunch of people trying to figure it all out.
Okay, so that is Tennessee AD Danny White. Now, he is not alone in this. On 3 Sports, like we mentioned yesterday, did a poll where about half of SEC athletic directors support a 2014 playoff. So Danny White, though he has made a lot of statements about the general direction of the sport and the things that are necessary. He mentioned Adam Sparks has done some reporting on this. He mentioned down in Destin this week that in every meeting he is going to bring up the 3 letters CBA. He said, we cannot move forward here long term without talking about collective bargaining with student athletes. And I think he's absolutely right about that. He also mentioned that while he does support the 2014 playoff, he also supports a BCS-like system to determine those teams, to take out the human element of the playoff committee that causes all sorts of debate and anger and consternation, as we know. It's great for us and the fodder and the sports talk side of things, but it's not so great when like 1 or 2 humans in a room can determine the fate of a team and whether or not they're going to have a chance to play for a championship.
No, but therein lies the conflict for Danny White, right? Because what is the purpose of the committee and the way that the thing is currently set up? What is the real purpose of it? It's to continue to create television programming around a thing in the lead up to a thing that does ad revenue.
But if that was true, they would just keep it as is, right? Because nothing creates more discussion than people being pissed off about the playoff committee chair.
No, they're banking on that it's going to happen again.
Every week.
That it's going to happen with other programs, that you could just widen the conversation.
Well, I'm saying they're changing up the format of the college football playoff show. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. I can pull up the exact reporting.
I missed that.
Like they're pulling back on, I got to find the details, but they are trying to do some things to curb just, it plays into it being contradictory week in and week out. It's almost an impossible situation that you put the committee members in.
It was designed to do that.
They are changing some things about, especially after this past year, where you had the whole Miami-Notre Dame thing.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's ahead of Miami. Notre Dame's ahead of Miami. And then suddenly they're not, even though neither of them played a game on that particular weekend after conference championships. So they are curbing some of that, and I can pull up the details on that we covered. It's probably been months at this point.
Okay, I just don't know what people expect Danny White to say because it's his job to fundraise. And this is going to help him fundraise. If you get greater access to the postseason, means that you can say, you remember the campaign that ESPN ran the first year of the college football playoff, either of you?
Remind me.
It might have been the first year of the 12-team playoff, but it was basically who's in, right? Who's in? It's all this conversation. Who's in? During Maction, who's in? Like it's a constant stream, a barrage of just creating this narrative about who's in the playoff. It's about the playoff, making the playoff. Whereas for almost the entire existence of college football, the importance has been on what? It's been on the regular season. And the validity of the regular season crowning the most true and effective champion humanly possible. We had this right the first time, right? With the way that we had, the way that we ended up having things in the BCS, because now we're basically asking for a modernized version of the BCS in some form or fashion. We had it closer to right the first time than we do right now, based on the way that they've screwed around with this thing. And now they've come away with not liking their own handiwork and saying, okay, we'll just go back to that. And we'll widen the field, and everybody will be happy because I can tell all of my boosters that we made the playoff last year, give us more money. Danny White's doing his job. I don't know that that's in the best interest of what's on the table here. You can dispute that if you want to. Because I'm sure if you asked Danny White, he would say, yeah, I think this is also in the best long-term interest, and he would have a well-thought-out reason why, I'm sure. But at the end of the day,
yeah,
a huge portion of his job is to raise money for that program. This helps him do that a lot easier at a program that's already a cash cow.
Yes, and that's the thing. We are depending on coaches, athletic directors, and presidents when talking about these matters. Greg Sankey is hearing out all of these figures, and they all have interests in mind. They all are at programs that have maybe different kinds of standards, where for some, making a 24-team playoff every other year is plenty to not get you fired. If you're the head coach at Mississippi State and you can eke into the 24-team college football playoff once every couple of seasons, you're good. I mean, you're set. So it's just flawed from the beginning when we are polling people who are going to respond based on their specific interests. As opposed to, and I'm not saying Nick Saban never said anything without Alabama's interests in mind. Of course he did. But Saban got to a place there at Alabama where he's Nick Saban. He's untouchable. So he kind of had this freedom to speak on the larger themes of the sport and where things need to go. I sort of liken it to, I would hear out what Rick Pitino has to say about the future of college basketball. Because, Rick Pitino's good. He's done everything. He's won everything. They love him up at St. John's.
Rick Pitino's also saying we're not recruiting high schoolers anymore.
Yeah, not many people are.
Rick is still playing the game. Now, he'll give you an honest answer. Him and Cal both.
That's what I'm saying.
Him and Cal are both in a stage of their careers where they're very comfortable talking about, I've done all this stuff. This is what I think.
Well, what's Cal worried about? He's going to get fired by Arkansas? Okay, great. Then what? Then he gets hired by who?
He gets a raise to do TV.
But there's not enough coaches in the SEC right now that I think have that sort of standing other than probably Kirby Smart. And Kirby is somebody that, is fair to listen to on all these issues.
People go to Kirby a lot. I don't know that has he offered many, like Saban, it felt like Saban was on the forefront of setting the agenda for college football. Kirby doesn't, it's a high bar. I want to be fair to him, but he just doesn't feel like he does that as often or maybe as effectively.
No, definitely not as effectively, but I think he is probably the most powerful voice in that room of SEC head coaches. But it is an inherently flawed system to lean on people that are going to have the interests of themselves and their programs in mind when trying to figure out how to shape the future of the sport. And that's the challenge that Greg Sankey faces at the moment.
It's unenviable because Greg Sankey feels like he's got the right things at the top of mind, but you can't blame everybody else for trying to be in job preservation mode when it's been set up that way. Robert, what do you have?
Oh, yeah, that was Danny White advocating for the Vols. This is me when Cheyenne's trying to remind me that I agreed to house her mother for 2 weeks in July.
I don't remember when I did that, but I think...
2 weeks?
It's a long time.
It's a long time for anybody.
That is a long time.
I'm sure she's a lovely woman.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Be bold. Be brave.
She's a woman who birthed my fiance.
Do not talk about your mother-in-law on here.
I never got the
disparaging
jokes.
way.
I never got the, oh, your mother-in-law sucks. Like, that sounds like a personal problem. But, like, now mine doesn't, by the way. I didn't get them before, but now I understand them retroactively and spatial reasons through osmosis and whatnot, you know. I'm trying to throw her off if she's listening. Those big words would confuse her.
Just go to break.
Shout out to all the mother-in-laws.
Go to break.
11:04. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Playoff action last night. The Golden Knights completed the sweep over the Avalanche with a 2-1 win on Wednesday. They move on to the Stanley Cup final for the third time in franchise history. They will await the winner between Hurricanes and Canadiens out of the East. Game 4 tonight in Carolina at 7. Carolina leads the series 2-1. In the NBA, the Thunder took a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference Finals with a 127-114 win at home. SGA, 32 points and 9 assists. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
For the opportunity to win what? Robert, what do we have back there in the nebulous prize bucket? If people call us, 615-737-1045, and give us the dumbest thing in sports this week.
We have for you 2 general admission plus tickets to Rock the South. June 11th through the 13th at the Fields in Decatur, Alabama. Rock the South features performances by Jason Aldean, Riley Green, Zach Top, Jesse Murph, Big X the Plug, Travis Tritt. I feel like one of those things is not like the other, but if you'd like more information or to purchase your own tickets, if you don't win today, you can go to rockthesouth.com.
Your anti-female agenda, it just has to stop.
I was talking about Travis Tritt being a actual good country music star, and everyone else is kind of just there. I'm Jason Aldean. I have a bar on Broadway. I'm a country music star.
Hey, Zach Top. Zach Top is...
Who's Zach
Not
Top?
to the level of Travis Tritt.
Why do we do this every time
let's
we
be
have
honest.
tickets?
But
Zach Top is doing like country music.
Yeah, he's good, but like everyone else on that list is like...
He's younger, right?
Yeah.
Zach Top?
And handsome.
Okay.
I don't know that. I have no clue what that guy looks like.
How do I ask you the prize and then you immediately savage the prize?
I didn't. I just said that Travis Tritt is on a different planet than everyone else on that list. That's all I said. It's a good prize.
He's probably got better weed. Oh, maybe not than Big X.
Yeah, not the Big X. He's no Willie Nelson.
615-737-1045. Call in. Give us the dumbest thing in sports this week. We'll give you 2 tickets to that upcoming festival in Decatur, Alabama. Sounds like a great time. The dumbest thing in sports this week is what we have turned, it's not all boxing, but celebrity boxing into. Do you guys remember Ray J?
Oh, I do. Oh, I love that you know that this happened this weekend.
This is a very, very, because the details on this story are kind of crazy. Lucas, you don't remember Ray J?
I remember who Ray J is, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Ray J, one-time R&B artist, also famously of the Kim Kardashian sex tape.
He thrust her into stardom, pun intended.
Yes, it was a star-making vehicle for Kim. It was not so much for Ray J, because Ray J is engaging in a YouTube boxing match against somebody called Super Hot Fire.
You know Super Hot Fire.
I remember Super Hot Fire.
He's the guy from the...
How do you know that guy, but not...
He's the...
I know who these people are. I just don't know the...
That's the wrong number!
Yeah, but I'm not a rapper. That guy.
Okay, Super Hot Fire. It's a celebrity boxing match.
Hosted by,
I'm only looking at Big Risk Promotions here because they're under investigation now. Who's it hosted by?
Brand Risk is the name of the fighting
Brand
company,
Risk.
But it's put on by Lucas's favorite, Aiden Ross.
Oh. So anyway, have you seen Ray J lately? Google a picture of Ray J. No.
Not kept up.
Maybe not on a. Just Google a picture of Ray J right now, okay? Because it's not the same guy from the sex tape.
He put on some weight,
buddy. He looks like a pear. He is in as bad a shape as you've ever seen in your life. He had to check himself into a Vegas hospital hours after he got his ass knocked out by Super Hot Fire. It's a boxing match put on by Aiden Ross, again, one of these streamers. And also, Brand Risk Promotions is now under investigation for possible foul play regarding match fixing between Ray J and Super Hot Fire. I can't say that name enough. We have let celebrity boxing at one time was a fun novelty. Now it is everybody trying to make a cash grab. It has gone too far, even though we are in a situation where this is a delightful story to talk about because of all of the ridiculous things around it. Also, the enhanced games happened this week. Something we haven't got to.
Hold on. That's mine.
Okay.
Don't talk anything about the enhanced games. 2 notes from this Brand Risk fight. This was by and large their best card that they have put on. They had Johnny Manziel fighting someone that I was unfamiliar with named Bob Minery. I have no clue.
Oh, yeah. He used to do, he does that he was Brockmeyer before Brockmeyer, right? He's doing these online play-by-play impressions.
Oh, okay.
But doing them he'd work at a cuss word or something like that. I don't know how better to describe him other than he's a very online sports person.
Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson fought, who were on the Big Three team that won a championship together.
Yep.
And Super Hot Fire had one of my favorite disses I've ever heard in a pre-fight press conference. He said, "Do you guys want to know how I know Ray J's drunk right now? Because he's awake."
Super Hot Fire to me has just been like a guy from a popular YouTube video when I was in middle school. I love that he's just still out here doing
He can actually fight for what it's worth.
He knocked the hell out of Ray J.
What happened is he hit Ray J, and what people are assuming is he hit him harder than he intended to and knocked him out.
Man.
Afterwards, Ray J gets on the mic and he's like, "Hey, we took a huge L tonight. I thought we had a plan." And they were like, "I don't know if you had a plan," but the guy that's the mid-ring interviewer, he's like, "But none of us thought you were going to win, so we all made some money. Anyway, talk about it in the back, yada, yada." And he shoves him off. But this has been an ongoing issue with Brand Risk fights where after everyone is over, the underdog is who won. At Brand Risk 13, all of the underdogs won their fight.
Yeah.
So this is something that people are alleging they're using to embezzle money, move money, clean money, yada, yada, yada.
Boxing has always been one of the dirtiest sports ever. And so now that the streamers are involved, you're just using it as huge cash grab money laundering opportunities.
So sad what has happened to the sport of boxing when we just have aging
It's coming for college football next. Hang on, bud.
Yeah, we're going to have a 50-year-old Timothy Chalamet playing college football or something just to stay relevant. Unbelievable. My dumbest thing in sports this week is HBO, who has been putting out a docuseries titled U.S. Against the World, 4 years with the men's national soccer team, which documents beginning with the 2022 World Cup and then every step of the way until the upcoming 2026 World Cup, which will be, of course, hosted by the U.S. along with Canada and Mexico, and a massive moment for U.S. soccer. So that 4-year journey is being documented. The problem is, fans quickly realized in one of the latest episodes that they left out something pretty important. I don't know how many of you guys remember the Gio Reyna, Greg Berhalter drama from the 2022 FIFA World Cup.
Very well.
That Gio Reyna, a player on the U.S. men's national team and a son of Claudio Reyna, who is a former U.S. soccer player and teammate and close friend of then U.S. coach Greg Berhalter's, Gio was an issue, had an attitude problem during the World Cup, wasn't getting playing time. They almost kicked him out of Qatar and sent him back home as a team, and it got very messy. His parents went to U.S. Soccer with some information on Greg Berhalter and his wife and an incident that happened in the early 90s.
Insane.
It became a huge mess and scandal that, according to the director of this documentary, said it was too complex to include in the documentary. It's one of the biggest stories in U.S. soccer history.
Yep.
And so I do think while it is complex and it's certainly a challenge to document in a fair way that's concise, you have to know what the backlash is going to be when you just skip over this part when documenting the U.S.'s journey in the 2022 World Cup.
Lucas, they've made it so you don't have to care. I mean, you guys have gotten tired of me whining and complaining about sports documentaries the last couple of years when I say, no, they're not telling the full picture. They're telling the picture that's friendliest to the subject so they can have access.
Yeah.
That is what documentaries have become. And it was on a much smaller scale with things like Hard Knocks and all these other versions of this that have allowed entities the exchange of access for something that's you can monetize after the fact. this is the most extreme version for sure, but like we've been letting people get away with this for years now. And companies are not moving away from that.
And the thing is, I'm still going to watch this docuseries. I mean,
I know.
I'm going to watch every episode. I want to, go back and relive every step of the last 4 years as the U.S. builds to this incredibly important moment in the history of the sport in America. But they're trying to erase or rewrite history in certain situations.
To
leave that out.
So HBO is usually better than that because like the Tiger Woods, the 2-part Tiger Woods thing, I think is as good as anything done since O.J. Simpson and the thing that won ESPN an Oscar because they didn't involve Tiger. Tiger wouldn't give them that access unless they did it his way. And they did a much better documentary and actually an actual documentary on Tiger as a result.
He said, quote, "There's no doubt," Rand Getlin, who said this on Glenn Crook's podcast, who is the NYCFC radio broadcaster, the director said, quote, "There's no doubt it's a massive, meaningful chapter in the story of this U.S. men's national team. The question is this the right vehicle to tell that story? And the answer is absolutely not. This is a team story that we're running through. Episode 1 is 2022 World Cup. Episode 2 is 2024 Copa America, so on and so forth." Basically said there's too much there to get into a doc that is supposed to just be about the story of the team and the soccer that was played.
615-737-1045. Call in and give us the dumbest thing in sports this week. We'll get to yours here in just a second for the opportunity to win tickets to the upcoming Country Music Festival in Decatur, Alabama. It's got Jason Aldean. It's got Zach Top. It's got Big X the Plug. It's got Travis Tritt, among others. 615-737-1045. Go ahead, Robert.
Mine is the Enhanced Games. If you're unfamiliar, a company wanted to put on a Olympic-style performance where all drugs, all PEDs were legal. Whatever you thought would enhance your performance, you were allowed to do it as long as you were under careful medical guidance, and all of the clean people won.
Yeah.
None of the people that were on drugs broke any world records.
No way.
No. Everyone either failed to hit a personal best or set a world record that was not clean. The only people that made personal records or broke a world record were the clean athletes.
Wow.
The biggest question from this is even though that the people went in and still participated cleanly, Enhanced has faced critics since first launching, yada, yada, yada. The World Doping Agency and people in there on whether you were sprinting, swimming, are now under the option of being banned from their own sports, from being banned from going and swimming at the Olympics or any other professional things, even though they participated cleanly. So I think that's what my dumbest thing in sports. Your guys, the people that are wanted to put on and say, you know what, I'll face all of those guys. Any of these Russians, any of these other people that want to dope them up and have them looking like Bane, I don't care. I'm going to come play cleanly. And they're still at risk of being banned from their sports, even though they wanted to play by the rules and show that they could do it.
That's messed up. That is the dumbest thing in sports.
The Enhanced Games. Like, how do you sell that to somebody next year? You're just going to be like, well, yeah, more juice. Next year, more juice.
Yeah, it feels like a one-year thing.
They are saying that it was a success. Stop putting this person on hold. They're going to keep hanging up.
No.
They're saying that this was a success. Because 250,000 people watched this event live. It was on Roku. It was on YouTube. This was a huge success. We're going to expand next year. And the anti-U.S. doping agency is doing everything in their power to let them run again next year.
Man.
615-737-1045. Call in, give us the dumbest thing in sports this week for the opportunity to win those tickets. Let's start with Bill in Gallatin.
Good morning. The dumbest thing in sports this past week has been James Harden sitting there in front of the press, in front of the world, and telling us that Cleveland was the better team after they got run in 4 games by the Knickerbockers.
Thank you for the call, Bill. Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win those tickets. Did you see this? So not only is it Kenny Atkinson before...
Who did get fired, the Cavs head coach.
Yeah, the final game 3, or the final game 4, talking about...
Didn't they announce he's coming back? He didn't get fired, did he?
Kenny Atkinson? I got a push notification yesterday. I thought I got a push notification that said he got fired. Oh,
yeah, Kenny Atkinson to remain with the Cavs.
To return, and so I read it completely wrong. Okay, thank you for that correction.
Very good.
So quite the opposite. Did not get fired.
Still
Yes,
there.
he was struck dead by a large metal rod. I got a push notification.
It happens.
I read that notification in my brain said, oh, they fired him.
Freudian slip.
Okay, never mind.
So Kenny Atkinson says before the sweep that the Knicks pull off against the Cavs, well, analytically, in terms of expected score, we've won 2 out of 3, which you cannot say in any setting if you are Kenny Atkinson and your team is getting not just beat, but beat badly, and you are getting outcoached at every turn. You are not adjusting.
No bueno.
Based on what you're doing. And then James Harden gets to the podium. Because did you see, I'm blanking on Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell got to the podium and basically did the Cam Ward we ass thing. It was a very realistic, self-aware assessment, maybe a little too honest in certain moments, but you'd rather that than James Harden getting up there in a serious face, getting defensive, and saying, no, I think we were the better team, even though we lost. You got swept. You lost every game by double digits. You let the Knicks come back from a historic point total that they were down from in game 1. You did that. You guys, you are not the better team. The only thing that I think that James Harden can be possibly doing is trying to say, no, you need to give me a contract next year. I need to continue to play for the Cavs. I would like to continue to get paid here, please. Thank you very much. I do not assume, or I do not associate James Harden with wanting to win, like actually wanting to win. And I think that's as big an indictment as I can have of a professional athlete. So it's a good one. Buffalo is in Gallatin, also Gallatin.
Well, I've actually made it up to Portland, but I'm going to bow out of your competition. We're nursing a replaced knee for my swagger at the Casa, but I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs and his Black Widow #2 screwing up. You know, that woman's done that to somebody else before. And look here, he just ruined his career for some Black Widow. I mean, what's up? He was our guy.
Thank you for the call, Buffalo. So Josh Jacobs was arrested and accused of some pretty serious stuff, including battery and strangulation.
Well, let's get to some NFL headlines then.
Okay. So Bill gets the tickets.
Bill gets the tickets.
Correct.
Very good. We can talk about Josh Jacobs coming up next. Nothing worse than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. You don't know what it will cost, or if it will get fixed correctly, or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, because they're going to solve your problems quickly. And, most importantly, the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. No surprises or hidden fees when you get your bill like other companies do. Hiller has been in business as a family-owned and operated company for over 30 years. Their techs are vetted, trusted, and professional. And when you get assigned your tech for your visit, you will get a link to track them in real time and a picture of the tech so you can confirm who it is that will be showing up for your appointment. HappyHiller.com is where you go. The logo, the motto is happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So visit them online today at happyhiller.com.
As the NFL continues to ramp up, stars are getting back on the field, stars are getting paid, and stars are ending up in hot water. For all that and more, we go to one man who's our one star, Lucas Panzica.
And unfortunately, we have some legal issues to talk about here as Packers running back Josh Jacobs was arrested yesterday and booked on several domestic violence charges. In Wisconsin, Jacobs was booked on charges of battery, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, strangulation and suffocation, and intimidation of a victim. According to the Brown County jail records in Wisconsin, the strangulation and suffocation charge is a felony. The other 4 charges are misdemeanors. Jacobs being held without bond. Matt LaFleur has been asked about it. He said they're letting the legal process play out before they make any comments. So an ugly story. His attorney has denied the allegations on Jacobs' behalf, saying, quote, Josh vehemently denies the allegations, and this matter is in the early stages of investigation with important evidence that has not yet been made public. We ask for fairness and restraint while the judicial process takes its course.
Packers also put out a statement. We're aware of the matter involving Josh Jacobs. As it is an ongoing legal situation, we will withhold further comment. So, yeah, you let it play out legally. The reference in the previous segment was made to a Black Widow situation.
Which I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was
very confused.
Yeah, it's basically implying some level of entrapment by a significant other. So we do not have enough information to determine whether that's true or not. And again, I don't want to get into complicated matters. Obviously, I don't cover the Packers, so I wouldn't have any level of intimate details on this. But it's not super uncommon that guys in an NFL locker room or on an NFL team may, have a similar dating history, for lack of a better term, or however you want to describe it, within, their own locker room. So beyond that, obviously, details are not fully out there beyond the charges, and they are significant. So it's a situation where we will see how this plays out. I would anticipate, because we didn't talk about James Pierce largely getting cleared of his situation, really.
Pretty much.
It sounds like he's going to be on the field week 1.
Which is crazy.
That is a very... If you wanted as convoluted a picture of our justice system as it relates to guys, especially in the world of professional athletics, that's probably it. Josh Jacobs, we'll see what happens. There is a matter, at least pertaining to football, of the personal conduct policy if he's found guilty on any of this.
Yeah, so from the football perspective, Jacobs last year rushed for 929 yards in Green Bay. He had 13 touchdowns, 282 yards receiving, catching the ball out of the backfield. And the Packers' depth chart at running back.
I was hoping you wouldn't have looked at it.
Go for it. I do have it up.
It's so gross. They did not draft a running back this year. I believe their running back room consists of Chris Brooks, Pierre Strong, Damian Martinez,
Marshawn Lloyd,
who's a 3rd-round pick, but has been pretty dookie soup as things go. Also, while I was perusing NFL names the other day, do you guys remember Dookie Nacho?
No.
The safety played for the was not the Commanders at that time. His name was Duke.
It's Duke Ihenacho.
Ihenacho, but if you say it quickly, it's Dookie Nacho, and that's his nickname on PFR. Is Dookie Nacho.
Dookie Nacho.
We need more.
No.
We need more Dookie Nachos.
No.
Anyway, their running back room is like eating a plate of Dookie Nachos.
Yeah. So we'll see how this plays out with Josh Jacobs. But if he does get suspended under the personal conduct policy, which Rashee Rice did last year. Mm-hmm. Just trying to think of examples.
To little or to no effect.
No, yeah, because he is in jail as we speak for smoking weed on probation. He'll be out in a little less than a month. But and it seems like, so James Pierce Jr., can he not still be subject to the NFL's personal conduct?
He can.
Like a suspension could still come for James Pierce. It seems like he's going to get out of any legal ramifications.
He's going to play. At some point, he's going to play.
So
it feels like.
If Josh Jacobs is going to miss some time or multiple weeks, then Packers got to do something. Running back.
And a lot of Titans fans were very quick to ship off Tony Pollard when they thought they were going to draft Jeremiah Love. Robert brought up the idea of, could Tony Pollard be in play for a team like the Packers, who are in a competitive window to win? Tony is also a rental, right? He's got 1 year left on his deal that he signed in 2024. He's a quality player. I saw a stat from Ian Hartitz the other day, and I can't remember, did we talk about this on the air? Where it was, Steve Lehman was in here when you guys were both off on Friday. There are two running backs in the NFL that have had 1,000 yards, at least 1,000 yards in each of the last 4 seasons. Can you tell me the two running backs?
1,000 yards in each of the last 4 seasons. Is Jonathan Taylor one?
No.
Is Pollard?
Yes.
No, really?
Tony Pollard is one.
Wow. Oh,
at least 1,000 yards.
Who are the other one?
Derek?
Derek.
Yeah,
it's Derek Henry and Tony Pollard. At least 1,000 yards in the last 4 seasons.
Oh, man.
So,
so I guess it's been over 4 years since Derek's foot injury.
Yeah, so whatever you want to say about Tony Pollard and he's not good enough, I would point to the situation in front of Tony to say he's about as consistent a player, a good, consistent player as the Titans have. So, if the Titans are trending in the wrong direction around the deadline, or even before the season begins, depending on Josh Jacobs' situation, could you be enticed to give up Tony Pollard for a better-than-average situation than you might otherwise get for Tony Pollard, given that you just drafted Nick Singleton? So then your backfield would be Khalil Mullings, in no particular order, Tajay Spears, and Nick Singleton. Chestnut is also back on a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's feasible. I don't know if Titans fans would go for that, because I think Titans fans just want the best support system around Cam Ward humanly possible, and everybody else's needs be damned. But again, it's an expiring contract, and I don't think you intend to re-sign Tony Pollard.
Well, Patrick Mahomes' knee be damned injury, because he's back on the field for OTAs. Micah Parsons is not. Now, they tore their ACLs around the same time. Same day. That's right. It was early December. And Micah Parsons is on the PUP list for OTAs, or according to Matt LaFleur, Parsons is expected to open training camp on the physically unable to perform list. There is no PUP list for this portion, but he's not expected to be on the practice field. Patrick Mahomes already is. He's wearing a big old brace on his left knee. You know, it's OTAs, so pads aren't on. There's no contact, not that there would be for Mahomes anyway, but he's out there slinging it around. At OTAs, Patrick Mahomes looking like he will be available week 1 on that Monday Night Football opener for Kansas City.
Not all knee injuries and surgeries are created equal, so we don't know. Again, I don't know specifics about Micah Parsons versus Patrick Mahomes.
And Micah's moving a whole lot more weight around.
I wonder who did their surgeries, because it seems that a lot of people have moved away from Dr. David Andrews and doing the somebody who was responsible for, I think, starting the ACL repair surgery. He's been around that long. And there's a guy named Neil Elatrosh in Los Angeles. That's who did Parsons. Robert just said in my ear. Okay, so Neil Elatrosh is somebody who Lawan went to after the fact, after David Andrews, again, according to a lawsuit, botched his knee repair. Harold Landry the same, Elatrosh. So they seem to get these guys turned around pretty quickly. If Parsons is expected to start on PUP, then that's what it is. They'll just have to make a decision on him before the regular season.
Dr. Dan Cooper did Patrick Mahomes surgery.
Okay, interesting.
The Chargers and safety Derwin James Jr. have agreed to a 3-year, $75.6 million contract extension. He is now the highest paid safety in NFL history for the second time in his career. The deal includes $57.5 million guaranteed. Derwin James was an All-Pro for the 4th time of his career last season. He signed an extension that made him the highest paid safety in league history back in 2022. He has done that again in 2026, and it passes the record contract that Kyle Hamilton signed last year.
Yeah, what's the APY on this one?
It says 25.2.
Okay, because that's funny, and that's what I was looking for, because Kyle Hamilton is 25.1.
There you
so
go.
They gave him an extra $100,000.
I wonder how many players have been the highest paid in league history at their position on multiple different occasions.
I can tell you the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, I believe, has been the highest paid quarterback 3 separate times.
I know Laramie Tunsil has a good case to be the highest paid tackle multiple times.
Oh, Trent Williams, though. Him and Trent are both money hungry. They both want that top of market.
I really, because like Laramie Tunsil has always done shorter deals to allow him to get back in the market, which is not something teams usually will go for. But he's got more leverage. He's been an excellent left tackle for a long time. In fact, I think he just got a new deal here recently, right, from Washington. So, Derwin James, a really good defense. How much changes without Jesse Minter? I don't know what that exactly looks like for Los Angeles. Obviously, their star-studded hire was Mike McDaniel to try and get things operating at a higher level offensively around Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is being tracked through Europe with Madison Beer. I guess were they at a BTS show? They were at some kind of like big concert or something like that. People were taking pictures of Justin Herbert and his girlfriend, not at OTAs, which if you were given the option to spend OTAs in Europe with your girlfriend versus OTAs with Jim Harbaugh, maybe at Justin Herbert's point in his career, it's okay if he's not there for
new OC. What's he need to be there for? But Lamar's not at voluntary practice. Let's report on this, ESPN.
I was baiting you.
So stupid. He showed up. He's back. Like,
where's Orlovsky?
Get him on the phone.
Where's Dan?
Probably in Buffalo, helping Josh unload his.
All right, relax. What else you got? Those are the headlines?
Those are the headlines.
Before you move on, I have a list of players that have set the market at their position multiple times. Would you like to guess before I give you the list?
Guess the names or guess the number?
There are 4 quarterbacks, 1 defensive lineman, and 1 tight end.
4 quarterbacks that have set the market multiple times?
Correct.
I bet Peyton's done it.
Correct.
I bet Breeze has done it.
Correct.
Brady definitely never has.
Because Brady took the team-friendly deal at the end.
Always.
Rodgers
is on the list.
Who would be the 4th quarterback? Matt Ryan?
Kirk? No, not Kirk.
He was in this headline segment.
Oh, Mahomes.
Correct.
Yeah.
The defensive lineman?
I bet Ndamukong Suh.
They only list 1, but that wouldn't surprise me.
They only list 1 D lineman?
Yes. It's not a conclusive list.
Chris Jones?
Other one.
Myles Garrett.
Oh, duh.
Other one.
Oh,
what?
Not
Aaron
Myles
Donald.
Garrett. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I'm sure Myles Garrett is on that.
Or an edge
Yeah,
list?
They just have defensive linemen
Myles
as a
Garrett
group.
has to be in
the
there.
tight end was George Kittle.
Yeah. Kittle's been around for a while now. All right. Very good. 615-737-1045. Justice for the world of college sports. We'll talk about it next.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're going to fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running those stairs anymore.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so.
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues, and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
Justice is what the NCAA handed down. Now, I don't normally side with the NCAA. In fact, this may be a first. But in the case of Texas Tech, I guess, are we still calling him the Texas Tech quarterback until future notice? Further notice? They've denied Brendan Sorsby's request to regain his athletic eligibility for the 2026 college football season. Of course, he has been just in the middle of one of the bigger gambling scandals I can remember in sports, having bet on his own team as a redshirt player for Indiana, obviously went on to Cincinnati, and then received a huge NIL valuation to come to Texas Tech and try and keep their college football playoff hopes and college football playoff championship hopes alive. So he has to go into a gambling addiction treatment center, comes out of it on the other side, and requests his eligibility through the NCAA, and they have deemed him permanently ineligible as of the reporting yesterday after their investigation into his gambling violations. So he is going to continue to push for this, but here's the statement. Recently, the NCAA issued an initial ruling that Brendan is permanently ineligible to compete. Texas Tech will be appealing that decision. We believe that given the facts, the context of Brendan's case, the NCAA's ruling should be reversed or modified. There is in no way, shape, or form that the NCAA should lose this. We will see what resources, what avenues Sorsby's representation and Texas Tech try to exploit here for the sake of keeping championship hopes alive. But this it can't be allowed to move forward.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it will. The president of Texas Tech had a letter to the Texas Tech community, and in that letter, he writes, the NCAA's stated mission includes fostering lifelong well-being, and they have claimed their goal is to promote a culture of care for student-athletes' mental health. Gambling addiction is a clinically recognized behavioral disorder. The Texas Tech athletic director, Kirby Hocutt, said that he expects the appeal to be submitted by the end of the week. He said, quote, we believe the right thing to do is not ruin this young man's college career for something that happened 4 years ago. There's penalties for everything you do. We would accept that and expect that. But at the same time, let's help this young man who has been very vulnerable and has admitted to some wrongdoings. Let's give him a second chance and help him. He filed a lawsuit in a local court, and the judge in said local court recused himself. So nothing is going Brendan Sorsby's way. And yeah, I think we all agree at some point, this is a thing that there just has to be a line drawn, and you do genuinely hope that he can get better. But
yeah, because he's being harshly punished. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to add what Feinbaum thinks about the whole situation.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, but I think you do.
Well, we'll get to that here. Or okay, let's get to it now.
Here's Paul Feinbaum on Get Up. Not the audio, but I'll just read his quote. We're talking about the NCAA, the most hypocritical organization in the history of mankind, coming down on somebody for gambling while they have their own side gambling deals and while gambling is pervasive everywhere. So a 3-game suspension, perhaps, keeping him out for the whole season is wrong. That was Feinbaum on Get Up ESPN.
Paul.
It's Paul like going all the way to the new version of Paul.
This is the one that we can't. No, we have to present a united front. Okay? We cannot have players in college sports that actively bet on their own team's games. We can't have it.
Yeah.
Unless
they're in the SEC.
Yes. The ACC wouldn't stand for that.
Well, because they need the help. I mean, they've fallen on tough times, the SEC.
They don't have enough money. Their cars aren't fast enough. Speakers get louder.
Fast.
Car get faster.
Their cars are fast.
You don't even have to be on the Georgia roster anymore to get a speeding ticket in Georgia. 135, Nolan Smith, what the hell are you doing? Insane.
He was late.
He was late to what?
Something, obviously. He had
When's the
somewhere
last
to be.
time? Have you ever broken 100 in a car? I've gotten a 90 one time and got a little nervous. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, you know Robert is ripping up the streets of Nashville in that Bronco.
No, I ain't done it here.
The windshield looks like it.
I hit 120 in my buddy's Mustang in college.
Oh,
that was the coolest thing I ever did.
Maybe in high school doing just some ridiculously stupid things when you get your license for the first time. But now 135, like 135 is outrageous.
It's
That's
moving.
Scary fast.
Yeah, that would hurt if you hit something.
Also, he's driving like a Durango. Who the hell is going 135 miles an hour in a Durango? Are you insane?
That would really hurt.
Anyway.
But like nobody wants to be the judge that grants an injunction.
No.
For the guy that gambled on his own team to continue playing college football. The NCAA is not going to waver on this. Yeah, it'd be very surprising to see Texas Tech find any sort of successful avenue to get Sorsby back on the field.
God, it's just such an easy thing for Feinbaum to do because he's the only person who's going to say that. You have to know if you say that you're the only person that's going to get out on that list.
That's kind of just what Paul's doing these days. Everybody zigs, he zags nowadays. That's funny.
I mean,
like, yes, Paul, the NCAA, very hypocritical. No. Every major sports league, very hypocritical.
Yes,
we understand this. Doesn't mean it just can't happen.
You can't have it. Yeah. It can be true that they are hypocrites, but also this can't be allowed. You cannot take this position. A 3-game suspension. Get out of here.
just for the sake of... A
3-game suspension, perhaps.
Let's see who Texas Tech plays in their first 3 games. According to Feinbaum, a proper punishment would be for him to miss the Abilene Christian game, the Oregon State game, and the Houston game.
Yeah.
Or maybe he could pick and choose which games he misses, a la Sharon Moore.
This has to be, again, just the nonsense. The hypocrisy of the NCAA, I agree with Paul Feinbaum, is everywhere. That cannot be a justification for something like this. And I want to make sure that I'm clear. I'm not unsympathetic to Brendan Sorsby. This is something. How old was he? How many years ago was the 2022?
Yeah, I mean,
so it's several years ago, and he made an error, a critical error, the one error that you cannot make. It seems because they will punish you more for gambling violations than they will in certain leagues for domestic situations, as we've seen time and time again. But you can't mess with the money, especially at that level, because that's the one thing that we do have the guardrails for. We have no guardrails anywhere else in college sports except for that one. So he's being punished for a mistake that he made years ago, and I'm sympathetic to that, but it's just, unfortunately, he has to be made an example of here.
Well, that's the one example of him gambling on his own team in college football, but obviously it's been a problem for him for years past that.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that's the stake. I don't care if he gambles on pitches or balls and strikes. I don't care if he gambles on the UFC. But I care if he gambles on his team.
That is more of the, but it does matter because that's the reason why he had to check himself into a facility. I mean, we probably don't even know about the Indiana stuff if he doesn't have to do that. And he has completed his 35-day inpatient rehab at a facility in Arizona. He is set to return to campus in the upcoming days, according to Pete Thamel.
I dare the NFL to let him in the supplemental draft. You cannot possibly, because teams are doing due diligence on him.
What do you do then if you're Brendan Sorsby? I mean, where do we see Brendan Sorsby playing football next?
UFL, CFL. I mean, he can do something out of. His best case scenario is that he goes to another one of these football leagues. He thrives, and somebody looks at him in a couple of years or after a year even and says, "Okay, we'll try this." Like, I think that is his best case scenario, to go pro, but not in the way that I'm sure that he imagined. He's going to miss out on a lot of money, obviously, because if he does not, and I don't know what the details are as far as how much money he's been paid versus how much money he would have to give back, if any, if this is upheld as it should be, but it's a really tough situation for him, even though it is self-inflicted. 615-737-1045 is the number. Lucas, how would you tease this next segment?
The U.S. men's national team roster has dropped for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and there is some consternation in how the news was communicated to U.S. players that are in and out of the roster. And there's a quote from U.S. manager Mauricio Pochettino that you just have to hear about this next. 12:01, good afternoon from the Circa Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. Playoff action last night. The Vegas Golden Knights completed the sweep over the Avalanche with a 2-1 win. They move on to the Stanley Cup final for the third time and await the winner out of the East between Carolina and Montreal. Game 4 is tonight in Raleigh at 7 p.m. Carolina leads the series 2-1. In the NBA, the Thunder took a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference Finals with a 127-114 win at home. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 32 points and 9 assists. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So we have the 26-player roster for the 2026 World Cup, Team USA, and some controversy around the way that it was made public and how it was that it was made public. So you have, forgive me, Lucas, if I mispronounce the coach's name,
let's hear
Mauricio Pochettino.
Good job.
Hey, look at that. He's been famous for a long time. I should probably be able to get that one. But Pochettino has his roster set, and they had a ceremony yesterday. I think the ceremony itself was broadcast on Fox.
Yep, Tuesday afternoon.
So the ceremony was a little bit hollow because The Guardian had done some reporting, and much like Shams Charania reporting SGA's back-to-back MVP honors before Amazon Prime got to announce it, and Blake Griffin being very butthurt on the broadcast about Shams shouldn't be able to do that, this, that, and the other.
Oh, right.
Go get brunch or whatever he said.
Oh, no, the reporter did his job. Out of here. The reporters did their job in this situation. They got the men's roster before the men's roster was officially announced. So there's additional controversy, not just because it was leaked, but because, Lucas, of the way that U.S. men's soccer contacted each individual member of not just the people who made it, but the people who also had a chance to make the roster.
Yeah, this has been a big talking point in the U.S. soccer community. A lot of former players, media members are heavily criticizing Mauricio Pochettino and U.S. soccer because there were no phone calls to the players that were in or out of the final 26-man roster. They got hit with an email telling them whether they were in or out. Now, for the most part, like the bulk of the roster, the individual players have a good idea, right? Like the Christian Pulisic's and Weston McKennie's of the U.S. team know that they're involved. It's not, it's a cool moment to see it officially, but you're in. There is a fringe of, I'd say, 6 or 7 players that, we both lost our fastball.
Neither of us were looking at you, and Garrett
Robert
Top was the only one that responded.
He just did it so half-heartedly. There's a fringe of probably around 7 players that it's right on the line, and they're waiting with bated breath for that phone call for the most part. But there was no phone call. It was an email. So before we hear from Mauricio Pochettino, where do you guys fall on this? Because there's one player in particular that people are upset about, and that's Diego Luna, a midfielder for Real Salt Lake. And people are upset because he has been called up at almost every turn since Pochettino took over. He has been sort of optimism personified at times where vibes have been bad for U.S. soccer, but Luna has always shown fight. He's a scrappy player, easy to root for, kind of an underdog story. And he was used in a lot of marketing campaigns for the U.S.
Interesting.
And his picture was used when their jersey officially dropped for what they were going to wear in the World Cup. Luna was plastered everywhere. For a lot of people, he was almost a lock. And ultimately, he was left out of the roster, and he just gets an email. And so for a lot of people, it's you owe these guys a phone call. This is one of the biggest moments of their lives and careers. Where do you guys fall on that? Is it being overblown? Are we being too sensitive about it? Or should there be a 2-minute conversation at the very least?
You owe Diego Luna a phone call. You don't owe everybody that was on the fringe of that. If he was in fact such a central figure, and again, you would know this better than I would, but if he was that much of a lock, yeah, it's worth giving him a call and just be like, hey, this was the logic behind our decision. Obviously, it's professional, not personal. We look forward to, I don't know what his age is. Is he going to have another opportunity to compete in a World Cup for the United States?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think in 4 years, if his trajectory continues on this path. And I wouldn't call him a lock, but he was a very he's given a lot for the U.S. men's national team in the last year and a half since Pochettino was hired.
Okay, so you determine, one, you have to know your players. Like, I think that's at the forefront of this, especially when it's a roster that small. You have to know your players. Does Diego Luna need a phone call? Is he somebody that needs that phone call?
See, I think if he's getting a phone call, then you should give all these guys that are right on the line a phone call.
I disagree. I think one, you have to know. I think it's okay if you know that some of these dudes can handle it and some can't and need that additional support. Like, you have to know your personnel in that situation. And I think you can pick your spots. You don't have to, like a lot of people, if you called me to tell me that I didn't make something, I would be like, just send me an email next time. Just send me a text next time, you know? There are other people who would like to know an explanation. They want more details on that. I think that's fine. It's more of an individualized basis. Now, Pochettino's response.
yeah. And now this is
He's
part
not
of like
engaging in any of it.
This is like a 4-minute answer because he got a lot of questions at the press conference yesterday.
I could not believe how long this answer was, though.
Oh, yeah. He can go on and on. Now, let me preface this by saying Mauricio Pochettino is Argentinian. He is not American. So you will hear his accent, but he rambles for quite some time responding to the controversy of, we could call it email gate, I suppose.
No.
This is Poch.
Asking if I understand the player, they didn't make the roster, they don't want to hear me to say, oh, apologize, oh, what I care. Do you know why I care? Because during 2 weeks I didn't sleep. And today, still I cannot enjoy the 26 guys that are in front of me because I am thinking in players that are out. That is about to care. It's not to call. Because if I call, it's about myself. I say, oh, I call. I am very human about calling and then giving explanation. Come on, that is bullshit.
Okay. So he's the kind of coach that he's agonizing over it privately. I'm going to send you an email publicly, and that's a wrap. That's what it is. Because he's saying he's still losing sleep.
I think if Pochettino, like, just for folks that know, Pochettino was a big swing for the U.S. men's national team. He has managed several massive clubs in Europe. He's managed Chelsea, Tottenham, PSG. He's managed some of the biggest names in world soccer. So it was kind of the U.S. soccer saying, okay, 2026 is one of the biggest moments in this nation's history in this sport. Let's go get a big name manager and bring him in here. Almost kind of like mercenary vibes.
Yep.
So I personally, there's been nothing said about this, but I would be very surprised. I think most people in U.S. soccer would be very surprised if he is still the manager after this World Cup. I think it was kind of a thing where get us through the 2020, help us maximize this moment.
And he failed. Something failed.
Well, the competition hasn't started yet.
But we're talking about them basically DOA.
Well, we don't know what the U.S. is going to do this summer. Like, the vibes have been weird, and I don't really know what this team's identity is. And it's kind of been, okay, I hope you know what you're doing.
Okay, fair enough.
But no, we can't say they failed when they haven't even played a game yet at this World Cup. To be clear, if the U.S. gets out of the group and wins 1 or 2 knockout round games, it's a success for the U.S. men's national team.
Okay, let me say, they've failed to this point because there is not that level of, like, maximizing the moment also
for sure.
emphasizes maximizing American interest in soccer.
A lot of shortcomings to this point because there's not this good vibe and feeling of excitement and we are ready to seize this moment. It's kind of like, okay, please don't blow this. Is
so
kind
if
of
I'm
the
a coach,
feeling.
and I know plenty of coaches that would look at that and say, well, that's not my job. But in this situation, it kind of is your job, in part.
Well, I think if Pochettino is a more long-term coach, like if this was an American coach that fully anticipates or hopes to be the coach of the U.S. men's national team for this World Cup and the next World Cup, I think you're making those calls because those are relationships you have to preserve with those players. You have to maintain a connection with those players. It is my theory that Pochettino doesn't have a big reason to care about preserving that connection with someone like Diego Luna because I think he's gone the second the World Cup is over. That's just how I feel about it. But it's been a very controversial thing.
So then are they already talking about potential replacements?
No. I mean, again, the tournament hasn't started yet.
No. I'm not talking about U.S. soccer. I'm talking about, like, are people eyeing potential replacements for him?
No. Now is the time to focus on the challenge at hand. Nobody is thinking about what happens after this World Cup. This World Cup is such a singularly huge moment for U.S. soccer that is a down the road conversation. Like, I don't care about that conversation right now. I care about what the U.S. is going to do against Paraguay, Turkey, and Australia.
Okay. I am fascinated to see what this World Cup looks like because I'll watch, obviously, and I'll watch more casually and watch parties and things like that. Are you doing anything for it?
Oh, but we'll be out and about. I'm not am I hosting something for it? What do you mean?
Are you hosting us? Are you going to show us your culture?
He no longer has the house, the facilities to do that successfully.
You don't have the facilities for that, big man.
Which I think.
Y'all ever seen that clip?
No.
The rare internet moment where Robert and I both have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I was being sarcastic. I'm chronically online. Anything you say.
Robert knows.
You don't have the facilities for that, big man.
No, I'm sure many of us will be at some watch parties. I might be doing some stuff during the World Cup, but in terms of watching the games, I can't wait to take it in with all of you guys.
I think this whole selection thing is baloney. If I'm being honest with you.
Everybody's just being sensitive.
Well, no, I don't really care how they tell them a phone call, an email, carrier pigeon. I don't care about any of that. I think they should put all of the prospective teammates in one room, put TV cameras, have a selection show, make Pacciatoni go up there and tell everybody why he thinks. He's like, and our first pick, Arnold Daniels. Arnold, come up here. Arnold's going to be our striker. Arnold's going to be good at that. All right, and our goalie. He should have to call them all up. And then the people that aren't on the team, you bring those cameras in close. just like the old Revolutionary War, don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. Get all up close to them. Show those American tears. I need to know who cared about it. And then if De Luna or whatever the guy's name was.
You're going to drive me nuts during this World Cup.
If he doesn't make it, so be it. If you didn't make it, maybe you don't have what it takes, buddy. Maybe you don't have what it takes. Oh, you showed fight. Oh, you were really good when there was a lot of touch. We don't care. What have you done for us lately? If you can't kick it with us, you can't kick it with nobody. Get him out of here. We're over the moon that you're not on the team anymore, Luna.
Is this how you want the Ravens to handle cuts at the end of training camp?
You'd watch that for sure.
I would watch the hell out of that.
Yeah, correct. We could do it like American Idol. We could have America vote. We could have a text line for who makes the U.S. men's national team.
No, there's already enough hand-wringing over the team.
I honestly, Pacciatoni is closer than what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to say like pepperoni or something like that. I thought I thought he was going to get doubly offensive.
Not even Italian.
No, I understand.
What's his name? Isn't it Pacciatoni?
Maurizio Pochettino. You got a couple vowels wrong. That's okay.
I'm thinking about that groundhog, Puxatoni.
Puxatoni.
Did you guys know that they doubled down on groundhogs in Pennsylvania?
What do you mean?
There's another groundhog that does their lottery. It's like, oh, Phil Lucky with this guy. I think his name's Phil.
No, this is animal exploitment.
They're all about the groundhogs up there. And he's tagged as being the second most famous groundhog in the state. So crazy.
Jeez.
That sounds like something you would see on like a road stop in like a 1960s road trip across the country. Like, come see the second most famous groundhog in America. He does the lottery.
Oh, it's Gus the groundhog. Gus the groundhog for Pennsylvania Lottery Instant Scratch-Off Lottery Games. He's appeared in over 80 advertisements. What have you done, Phil? Besides incorrectly pick whether summer or winter or spring or whatever the hell his job
Phil's
is.
Jumped the shark. Phil has jumped the shark, certainly.
That would be a much more interesting Groundhog's Day.
ESPN is alleging that the Vols quarterback situation has jumped the shark. We'll talk about it coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Best hot chicken in the world. It's lunchtime. I'm thinking about food. I've been thinking about food for the last hour. Thinking about Hattie B's. Thinking about whole wings. I haven't had whole wings from Hattie B's in a while. I did tenders the last time we were in there. I don't think I've ever done a half bird or a whole bird like the two of you do. Maybe I try that one time. We're due. We're due for another Hattie B's trip. We are due to talk about the Vols quarterback situation. It's been a while. And as far as the upcoming quarterback situation goes, ESPN, in a season of ranking and lists, has ranked all 138 FBS quarterback situations ahead of the upcoming 2026 season. Now, before we get into that, and we tell you where the Vols quarterback situation ranks, at the top of this ESPN article was a video. They usually embed video players in all of their articles. And it's a clip from Pat McAfee talking to Jared Curtis, the Vanderbilt quarterback, one of Vanderbilt's quarterbacks, obviously the highest ranking Vanderbilt recruit in the program's history, who is coming in as a true freshman and theoretically is going to replace Diego Pavia, though no official determination on Vandy's starting quarterback has been named. So, since that's the case, I asked Lucas and Robert, why is he on McAfee? And then Robert said, well, he was in that movie. And I looked at him and said, what movie? The two of you told me Nate Bargatze helped Vanderbilt out with a part of his NIL situation to put Jared Curtis in Nate Bargatze's new movie?
Correct.
Casual.
If I'm not mistaken, he was in like the opening scene.
Is that The
Breadwinners, the name of the movie. It just came out.
Is that the most creative use of NIL incentives? Because, I mean, how many other situations are there like that? I'm sure there are other movie stars from other universities and other programs who are asking, celebrities or famous people or rich people for support. But like Nate Bargatze being like, yeah, you can put it in his NIL deal. We'll put him in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was shot in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. The premiere was here in Nashville. Obviously, Nate is from Nashville, reps Nashville, and reps Vanderbilt football. And so he threw Jared Curtis an NIL bone. I mean, that's what it is, right? There's business opportunities for these guys, and now it's kind of another skill set they have to have, especially players in a position like Jared Curtis is, to balance that out with, still proving something on the field. Like accepting those opportunities while understanding you still have to prove it on the field. But it's hard to bemoan them accepting those opportunities.
Yeah, we've never been more the inverse of that, right? Where these opportunities come your way and then you get on the field and you may not live up to the level of opportunities that you got at the start. Anyway, so ESPN has ranked 138 different quarterback situations in college football next year.
Kind of. They've ranked them in tiers. So they haven't gone straight up. Here's 1, 2, 3. They have Tier 1, Tier 2, all the way through Tier 25, and there's a collection of teams in each tier. And they're not even ranked within those tiers. It's just like, here's the 4 teams in Tier 7 or whatever.
Right. And so there are, as I look through this, I've got them at
25.
25 different tiers?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
25 different tiers. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Where does Tennessee rank?
Where do you think? What tier?
Out of 25?
Out of 25. And this is not like just power conference.
Right.
This is every team in FBS.
You want to go first?
If you were going to say that this ranking equaled X amount of Vols fan tiers, how many tiers would it produce?
Oh, man. I will say if we were to rank every quarterback situation at the end of 2026 and Tennessee was still in the tier that this article says it's in, there would be many Vols tiers.
17.
Buck?
14.
12. Tier 12.
Okay.
I counted it up, and I did it quickly during the break, so it could be a little off, but I counted 39 total quarterback situations positioned ahead of Tennessee, in tiers ahead of Tennessee.
So they're in the same tier as Cincinnati, Clemson, and North Carolina.
Yes. The Tier 12 label is what's behind door number 2.
Okay.
David Hale, who wrote this for ESPN, writes, Tier 12 presents the ultimate combination of the devil you know versus the one you don't. On one hand, each of these teams could go with a veteran player, either an in-house talent or a portal addition. They're all safe-ish bets. On the other hand, there's a true freshman with massive upside and virtually no practice reps. I wouldn't call George McIntyre, quote-unquote, the devil you know, or a safe veteran.
I don't know anything
option.
about George McIntyre in a game.
He's never started a game at the college level in his life. But I guess I understand the general premise. McIntyre has been on campus. The coaching staff has gotten to know him now for over a year. And Faison Brandon just arrived for spring ball. But, yeah, UNC, Clemson, and Cincinnati is who they're next to.
So he goes on to write, with each team coming off of a disappointing season, the pressure to go with a young player will be immense. And that is something that feels very real with Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel, Dabo Swinney, I don't know who the Cincinnati quarterback or coach. Oh, Fickle. No, not Fickle. He's at Wisconsin.
No,
who's the Cincinnati coach?
The former Scott Satterfield.
Oh, okay.
Former Louisville coach.
Right. So Scott Satterfield, Dabo, Belichick, and Heupel, all as coaches facing immense pressure with promising young freshmen on their roster at quarterback. Clemson fans, he writes, are already bored with Vizinia. Is that how I say it?
Vizina. Christopher Vizina.
And they've seen this story unfold before with Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, and Cade Klubnik, when Dabo Swinney went with the veteran to start, only to make a change somewhere along the way. So of these, Clemson feels the most combustible, right? Where there might be immediate implications like this season. I have to think that Belichick is there at least for the upcoming season. You have other thoughts on this, ACC Truther?
Do you know the UNC win total over-under?
How many games did they win last year? 7?
Something like that. I have no idea.
I'll say 7.5.
Lucas?
I'll say 6.5.
4.5.
What?
Whoa.
It is set at. I'm hammering the over as hard as you can hammer.
4.5?
They open up pretty tough at playing TCU. They're having that game in Ireland. They play ETSU, Clemson, Notre Dame, Pitt, Duke, Syracuse, Miami, UConn, Louisville, Virginia, NC State. So I mean, a tough road to hoe, but if they don't win before games,
aren't they supposed to be one of the tough opponents on that schedule? Not the dog. 4.5
potentially.
No wonder Bill Belichick is doing pardon my take interviews and all these other things. Oh my God! So all right, I still think Clemson is the most combustible at any of those. I mean, if Belichick wins 5 games next year, that will be a talking point. But I feel like Dabo is the closest to being out of his situation, potentially.
It is reasonable to place Tennessee in a lower tier of quarterback situation because you don't know what you have in either player.
You have no idea.
Right. To sit here and say that Tennessee is in an upper tier of QB situation in all of college football is pure projection. Where do you guys think Vanderbilt lands? What tier?
They have to be lower, right?
Yeah, I'd say 14.
I'll say, if Tennessee's 12, I'd say Vandy 14.
7. Tier 7, the tier is labeled, it'll all work out. It is Jared Curtis, it is TCU and quarterback Jaden Craig, and it is the Alabama QB situation between Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. They've been battling it out in the spring. David Hale writes, and then there's Vandy, which completely flipped its longtime script as a national afterthought thanks to the impact of Diego Pavia. His career ended after his approximately 34th season, and the Commodores need to prove they are capable of playing at a high level with someone else at QB. Enter Curtis, a 5-star recruit who flipped to Vandy in one of the most shocking high school signings in recent memory. So that is, by definition, projection, but they're using Curtis's lofty recruiting status and profile to put him in with a tier labeled, it'll all work out.
Okay, but I feel that way more about Vanderbilt than I do about Tennessee, right? I don't think it'll all work out no matter how this goes this season. If Jared Curtis starts immediately and struggles, there will be conversation. There's not going to be heat on him at Vanderbilt like there will be on whomever starts at Tennessee and on Josh Heupel. Right, like Clark Lee and Jared Curtis are not going to be sweating it if they're 500 in SEC play.
If they go 6-6 this season.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
I
Curtis
think
shows some things.
You are preparing yourself for Vanderbilt to not have what they just had, which is the best season in program history. Okay? That's a different level of evaluation. Tennessee is a fishbowl job. Everything that you do is hyper-analyzed by the college football consuming community and by your own fan base. So I think Heupel, in a year where there are starting to become, there's more questions about Josh Heupel right now than there have ever been since he got that job, like outside of when he got hired initially, right? This is as kind of like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
As Vols fans have been on Josh Heupel.
The way I've put it is we're going into another phase of the Heupel era where it is a talented team on paper. It's a very young team that's going to have a young quarterback. So I think Vols fans want to look at it through one lens. It's year 5. What's going on? Why aren't we competing for championships, right? There are fans on that side of the aisle, and there are fans on the side of the aisle of, okay, we've reached this sort of established floor. All right, well, what are you going to show us in this next phase of the Heupel era with Jim Knowles in there as defensive coordinator? I think most reasonable fans will understand this doesn't feel like a snap of a finger, lightning in a bottle sort of season. There's going to be adjustments. The defense has to show improvements. The quarterback has to get adjusted. But what are you going to show us in terms of the trajectory of the program heading into 2027 as well? It's kind of an interesting place to be in year 5 where you still have these questions, but there's a scenario where the trajectory is still very good if whoever wins this QB battle really hits the ground running.
How many SEC teams do you think are behind the Vols in this tier list?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, you counted them up?
I did.
I will say 5.
4.
1.
Who?
Arkansas. Do you think that is an accurate assessment of the Vols quarterback situation?
Clearly
going
not, based on what we both just guessed.
So he notes Arkansas, who ends up in tier 15. Everyone gets lucky sometimes. Arkansas with KJ Jackson and AJ Hill. He one of the,
you don't want to be there.
One of the important notes he has: if you're Arkansas, well, at least there will be fewer Bobby Petrino motorcycle jokes this year, right? He does a blind comparison between two teams. Would you rather have Team A, which he has EPA drop back? I'll stick with success rate and completion rate. Team A has a 45.7% success rate and a 63.9% completion rate. Team B has a 45.3% success rate and a 63.3% completion rate. Team A is Memphis, and Team B is Arkansas. So when you are with Ryan Silverfield in Memphis now, you're being compared to an SEC team. It's a pretty good place for Memphis to be in, but not a great place.
Arkansas.
Well, you know where Ryan Silverfield is. He's the head coach at Arkansas.
Oh, okay. He left. Okay,
That's right.
Sorry, I had it mixed up in my head.
They scooped him up from Memphis.
Yeah, because remember, wasn't it talked about like Golish was going to get that job, and then all of a sudden he wasn't?
It looked like it was trending there. Yes, so Arkansas
Somebody
fans
reported
were
it.
pissed. Yeah, someone reported Golish is closing in on the Arkansas job. It's off-season stuff. At the end of the day, like, how do you rank quarterback situations when you're dealing with quarterbacks that you've never seen start a game, right? Like, how do you rank Tennessee's quarterback situation with Vanderbilt's? Does it just come down to who you think the better prospect is between Curtis and either McIntyre or Brandon? But
No,
then
but
you
I
do have
think
to consider the situation around them.
He did it appropriately. Like, I feel comfortable with the way that he laid the tiers out. With specific to Tennessee and Vanderbilt, I haven't read the whole piece, but if I'm looking at Tennessee, or if I'm looking at Vanderbilt rather, in tier 7, and tier 7 is described as it'll all work out versus what you're looking at in tier 12, which is what's behind door number 2. I feel like both of those are appropriate for where they land. If you're you're not ranking the quarterbacks necessarily, right? You're ranking the situations that the quarterbacks are in.
Yeah, I don't question ranking Tennessee's situation that low, again, because we have no idea what it's going to look like. I also have no idea what Alabama's situation is going to look like with Keelan Russell and Austin Mack, right? There's so many unknowns. There's a lot of new quarterback faces in the SEC this year. The only logic I take issue with is the premise of Tennessee being in a tier that, well, we know what we have in this guy, but what about this guy? You don't know what you have in either player. So I don't know what the more appropriate tier would be for Tennessee or what tier to place them in. Maybe I'll find one here, but Like,
Yeah, you don't know what's behind door 1 or 2.
Exactly. I don't know what's behind either door right now in terms of being out there when the bullets are flying in SEC play.
Would it make Vols fans feel better that Nico is rated 2 tiers below them in Tier 14, living dangerously?
Living dangerously.
We got to stop doing this to Nico.
I'm just looking at Vols adjacent quarterbacks and where they rank.
It's a picture of him. There's 12 players. DJ Lagway, Maddox Madsen, Ashton Daniels, Caton Hauser.
Boo, former ECU quarterback, boo. Oh, taking a big bag from the Fighting Illini. Hope it feels good to get your ass busted over there, buddy.
Cole Ballard, Isaiah Marshall.
Get ready to learn 8 and 4, pal.
Jenkins, Drake Lindsay, Nico, Bo Pribula, Eli Holstein, Michael Hawkins Jr.
Michael Hawkins. Oh, my God. That's the former Oklahoma quarterback. That's the guy they threw in there when Jackson Arnold was terrible against Tennessee.
Love this game where we just scroll down the list of names. Is that guy still playing college football? He's where now? It's delightful. I can't imagine. I mean, you tell me. Are Vols fans still taking victory laps about the Nico thing? I think they're more worried about their own situation.
Yeah, no, now it's kind of like, I'm sure it'll. You see a ESPN sort of scroll at the bottom of the screen that says Nico throws 3 interceptions in a loss, you'll get a laugh or a scoff. But no, people are worried about what the hell this is going to look like for Tennessee in 2026 because there's a lot of unknowns.
Another unknown, who is going to be UConn's starter? I kind of assumed Jake Merklinger would take that and run, but he ends up in Tier 19. You've come to the right place. Labeled under UConn with Tucker McDonald, Jake Merklinger, and Caleb Osborne. The turd slinger not going to be the dude for UConn this year?
Who's in the 25th tier here? Just out of sheer morbid curiosity.
It's not ECU. I already checked. I was going to be very upset.
Do I recognize a single one of these names?
No.
No,
it's Tier 25 is called
Charlotte, Northern Illinois, New Mexico State.
Oh, these are all dudes who have never started a college football game, right?
Better than all but 0.00002% is the name of Tier 25. Just mean at that point.
It's Charlotte, Louisiana Monroe, Miami of Ohio, New Mexico State, Northern Illinois, and Temple.
I mean, some of these tier names are pretty funny. Tier 3 is the Sean Clifford zone.
He makes fun of Penn State quarterbacks. There's a Christian Hackenberg tier as well.
I love 24 Schrodinger's quarterback rooms as opposed to Schrodinger's cat.
This was
Tier 5 is the Christian Hackenberg paradox.
But he makes a good point where it's like Christian Hackenberg was excellent his freshman year and then came back and kind of fell by the wayside.
Bear Bachmeier, Bryce Underwood, very appropriate quarterbacks to put in there.
I loved once he got to the end of it and he was like, okay. Like he's like Charlie and Always Sunny, like drawing the lines and trying to figure out how to fit these guys in boxes. Tier 22. Remember some of them guys from the ACC? Akron, East Carolina, Liberty, Missouri, Oregon State, and UMass all have quarterbacks who have at one point started games in the ACC and hoping that their ACC branded, quote, accomplish greatness with the capital ACC at the beginning of accomplish, commemorate tote bags that they are surely receive upon transferring.
You know what I love doing now? It's a thing that you've done for years.
What?
Where are the Ravens at?
Where's Indiana?
Where's Indiana at?
Where's Indiana?
They are squarely in the Sean Clifford zone. Tier 3, baby.
Josh Hoover.
Josh Hoover, the TCU transfer.
It's an interesting quarterback year in college football.
He's in good company, too. Gunnar Stockton, John Mateer,
Marcel Reed.
Devian Dampier. How would you say that?
Devin Dampier.
Dampier.
Yeah, Utah.
Dampier. That's what I used to show my mom when I peed in the bed. Yes, it's Dampier.
You're right. I'm glad I didn't get a break. You're right. That was a good choice by you. I'm glad as the executive producer.
You lead her into the room.
Yes,
very
Mother,
formally.
you see the darkened circle in the middle of the bed? Yes, it's Dampier.
I'm glad that the production call that you made as executive producer of this radio show was to stop cold in the middle of a break and say a Dampier joke. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Wrapping up the show on a Wednesday. If you missed any of it, it's available via podcast. You can also watch back the show if you're a real sicko. You can watch it on Zone TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where we live stream as always. Wrapping up with some last call for phone calls. We'll get to them in just a second. But, Lucas, you have an update, a Tennessee Vols-related update, as we were just talking about the Vols quarterback situation.
Yeah, Pete Nakos dropping this just moments ago of On3 Sports. Tennessee football is in Knoxville for summer workouts, players arriving on campus. But edge rusher Chaz Coleman has yet to report to Knoxville. This is according to both Nakos and Chris Lowe of On3. Voluntary workouts started earlier this week. Coleman not there yet for those summer workouts. Here's a quote from Josh Heupel. Chaz has been dealing with some things, and we're here to support him. We'll continue to go through that process. Big name portal pickup from Penn State in the offseason. Was there at the start of spring practice and then stopped showing up, was dealing with off-field stuff. Various reports of Chaz Coleman dealing with vertigo, dealing with homesickness, personal stuff, all very, very nebulous. But understandably, it was going to be everybody had eyes on Knoxville to see if Coleman would appear with everybody else. It looks like that has not been the case.
If he starts calling out with food sickness or food poisoning, then you know something's up. It's like, all right, that's the most irrelevant. I got to get out of something. Oh, Chaz Coleman has jury duty. That's why he can't go to Vols practice. Oh, Chaz Coleman had a death in his family. He has to
grandparents.
Like what's your best excuse for getting out of stuff you don't want to do at work? Like food poisoning, jury duty,
stomach bug. I feel like is generic enough. It can cover enough things. You don't know what's coming out of where, so that's problematic enough for people to be like, stay home.
It's food poisoning because that is a hard thing to follow up on, and you can get over food poisoning in a day.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're trying to get out of a day of work or school, food poisoning is the move. You say, I had some bad chicken last night. It's tearing me up. I should be, because usually that stuff, 24 hours, you're back to normal.
It also sucks when you have to use that excuse because everyone is instantly going to be like,
oh, yeah, when you actually have it.
I literally did it. The two of you said that I was lying. I never take days off as far as being sick. The one day I felt physically ill, you're like, no, you're lying.
Yeah.
Well, then I had food poisoning earlier, what was it, late last year or maybe early this year, and I was out for like 3 days.
Yeah, it wiped you out.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I need to get that again. I lost so much weight when I lost like 15 pounds over those 3 days. It was awesome. I was so svelte.
Have either of you been selected for jury duty?
Never.
Knock on wood, man.
I would love to. It's a catered lunch.
Yeah. I'd come back and I would just disclose everything. Like, all right, so this guy, right? So he's in his car.
I feel like immediately any of the three of us are disqualified because, we talk in front of microphones for a living, and if we have to ask, where were you? And you say jury duty, that's probably compromising in some...
Why should any of you be recused from doing this jury duty? Like, well, Your Honor, I will be speaking about it on the radio if you keep me here.
I will try the case publicly on the radio for 3 hours a day.
Larry on the FNM Bank chat says flat tire. Could be an excuse Chaz Coleman is using. He also says dog ate his football.
Flat tire's not an excuse. Uber.
Yeah,
I would tell somebody to Uber.
I agree. But this is concerning, like to say the least. Until he is on campus and working out, it is concerning. And I've heard Brent Hubbs and Austin Price, obviously very credible, on with Ramon and Will in the last few weeks that have said, look, there's been some positive momentum there. It feels like they're making progress with Chaz Coleman. But until he is on the field working with the team, I'm going to be concerned about it because Chaz Coleman is arguably the most important player to Tennessee's defense in a year where it's expected to make a big leap forward under Jim Knowles.
The curious case for me is like, why would Jim? Oh, wow. Was that your back?
Oh, could you hear that?
Yes.
I didn't hear anything.
That was my chest.
You can pop your chest?
I mean, yeah.
It only, did it just happen again?
Yeah.
It only happens when I bench press. It's the only time that I can pop my.
I benched yesterday.
Yeah. What was it?
I don't know.
The curious case for me is if Jim Knowles felt so comfortable in giving this guy, what's his evaluation, like $3.5 million? It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what's reported, yeah. So, highest paid player on Tennessee's roster this year, if that's the case.
So if Jim, who had experience with this guy in Penn State, knew that something was going on with this guy, either family, mental, whatever.
Vertigo, though. Like, what is that?
It's what I'm saying. It's very nebulous.
Just, very weird, very ambiguous. Like, you don't know what they're really going. Is this just an excuse? Yeah. But if he knew about this, why is this not something he voiced? Like, why would he feel so comfortable in telling Danny White or whoever the hell signs these checks, hey, this guy, he might be a little bit here, a little bit there.
Unless it's just completely off the wall.
Yeah, I think your answer is no. This couldn't have been anticipated. Like you said, Jim Knowles worked with Chaz Coleman for an entire year last year at Penn State. Chaz Coleman was a true freshman. He played some. For him, it's really about the ceiling as a prospect that made him a 5-star transfer portal prospect. Oh, is it Ohio?
Like, I'm just trying to think, like, where, like, if he was from, like, Hawaii or something like that, and you took him and dropped him in Knoxville, Tennessee, like, I'd imagine there's some level of acclimation. I'm just trying to make, like, the homesick thing make sense.
Warren, Ohio is where he went to high school.
Warren G. Harding High School. So, I hear what you're saying. You have multiple staffers, Jim Knowles included, that were at Penn State last year on that defensive staff that worked around and with Chaz Coleman. So if this was something where there were red flags, you would think it's not something Tennessee would have gone through with, which is what leads me to believe that this has all kind of been a new thing around Chaz Coleman. It's just strange. It's just strange.
Oh, I didn't do polls. All right, that's fine. We have phone calls. 615-737-1045. Peyton is in White House.
Hey, good afternoon, bud.
Hey.
So I kind of joined in late, but I was just interested. What tier was C.J. Carr put in? Because him and Arch Manning are the co-favorites as far as Heisman odds go, and it's got probably the most loaded receiver room that Notre Dame's had probably quite some time. I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, Robert just got in my ear and said Tier 1. What is Tier 1 labeled, Robert?
Good luck on that turn. Room at the top.
It's a long... Who leaves their signal on?
He might have been at a light. It's never wrong to signal your intentions to people, both in traffic or lane.
No. Do not always encourage more turn signals.
I have never been upset with someone for over-communicating. Ever.
Can you imagine being in the car? Hey, turn off your damn turn signal, man.
Hey, we get it. You're turning. It's a turn lane.
I just mean in, like, your own car. Like, that noise doesn't drive you crazy. Like, once I'm in the turn lane, everybody understands I'm turning.
What was bothering him is C.J. Carr. He was in Tier 1 with Darian Mensah, Trinidad Chambliss, and Arch Manning. There was just the top players. He didn't even do a write-up for them. He has a tier below them for Julian Sayin.
Tier 1A
Julian Sayin
has those four. Mensah, Carr, Chambliss, and Manning are Tier 1A. Tier 1B is just Julian Sayin, and it's titled Great, but also has Jeremiah Smith. Which is fair.
I think I like David Hale.
It's fun. This is good stuff.
I think on Twitter, what is he? A David Hale joint on Twitter? Actually,
I don't know.
David Hale's number. Do you want me to talk to him? I'll give him a call right now.
Well, not now. We've already done it.
No, I'm going to do it right now.
You want to do that now?
David Hale. Yes. Oh, his number. 81. Yeah, I like David Hale. He's a good guy. Good Twitter follow.
If I had the presence of mind to do the polls today, they would have been presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most
trusted dealer in the South.
The South's most trusted Ford dealer.
We have to hang that one in there. South.
I thought it was the Carolina Hurricanes alarm again.
Zach, sound a siren. Do they play tonight, Lucas?
How do you not know? I was just talking to him about, like, we should talk more hockey. Robert's into it,
he
right?
He doesn't care. If it's not the NFL, he does not care, and you can never make him care.
He just says it because it's, hold on. Zach, sound a siren.
Yes, they play tonight.
That was better.
He gets more excited for it every time.
It sounded like a coyote in the distance.
They're in Raleigh tonight to take on the Canadians. Carolina has a 2-1 series lead. Winner will move on to face the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Final.
Good old Raleigh.
All right, very good. That's going to do it for us today. Robert and I will have a primetime episode for you tonight, a little after 7 o'clock on A to Z Sports. We look forward to seeing you there. Enjoy Blaine and Zach coming up next.